What's up, ninjas? Strydent is back. I've been really busy and I'm sorry it's been a while, but I've got a hell of a bunch of reviews for you today. I have a huge haul. I'm going to go over just about everything that I got in the last like 2-3 months, something like that. 2.5 months. Anyway, I hope everything's good with everybody. Things have been pretty good over here. Lots of changes, of course, getting used to being married and all that good stuff. But never slowed down with the collecting. Me and my son have been finding some things. I've got good news because I did manage to find something I did not think I would find in stores. I found the 30th anniversary Storm Shadow. Only one in the store. I was happy because I was running around asking for it. I was looking online and the prices were ignorant. So I'm going to be reviewing that for you too. So I know you guys have waited a while, so stay tuned, all right? All right, so this is the array of figures that I managed to find, mostly G.I. Joe stuff. I found some other things, but I figured I would focus on the Joes. I've even got a custom sitting there in the center. It's been fun. I'm going to start with the custom figure. Now, I found Ripcord in, I think it was Target. That's pretty much where I found everybody. And when I souped him up and I looked at the face and everything, I was like, you know, he doesn't really strike me as Ripcord. So he kind of looked more like me. So I turned him into a custom Edge figure. Now, Edge was one of the figures that I made. He's actually a character from a story that I wrote and I'm illustrating. And I made an action figure of him, a 12-inch figure of him. So at some point I'll review him, show you all the weapons and stuff. It might be soon, actually, since I did this. But anyway, he is part of the Joe's Black Ops unit. He is a ranger. Rangers lead the way. And this is pretty much what, you know, I figured would be a cool look for him. I mean, I found this rip cycle or whatever you want to call it, and I dug it. I dug the design of the motorcycle. The missiles I could do without. But it came with a Snake Eyes figure, which was a combination of parts from 2 other Snake Eyes figures I had. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give someone else a black costume. And here we are. So you can see I've got my modified Raging Bull. Got my sword on my backpack. And got my bulletproof vest and goggles. So I am ready for work. One thing I dig about the cycle and this particular Snake Eyes body that I used for this custom is the fact that they're weighty. They're really weighty. I don't know. I guess because it's a rip cycle, they wanted it to have weight to it so it actually goes where you want it to go without just being, you know, flying off the track or flying off the direction that you send it in because it doesn't weigh anything, you know? So I dig that. Plus, I also dig the fact that it's not very fancy looking. It looks like a armored, heavy, you know, almost like a Harley with armor all over it. And I dig that. I like big bikes anyway because I'm a big dude. I can't ride, you know, crotch rockets. I've done it. That's what I learned to ride on. But I prefer fat boys and stuff. You know what I mean? That works better for me. But as far as the figure goes, this was just me geeking out, making another Ranger. I might even switch my you know, flak jacket to the one that came with the Steel Brigade from the Steel Brigade Delta that came with the Vamp from the 30th anniversary line. But as you can see, makes a unique figure. I got rid of that Rashikage symbol on the side so that way we didn't end up with another, you know, straight up Snake Eyes figure, and it's obvious, you know. So this is just a light custom, you know, me having fun. So here's Ripcord. Strange looking figure to some degree, especially when you think about who he's supposed to be. Now the details are awesome. I know the artist that designed this. He's actually awesome. He's the same artist that did the designs for Army of Two, the 40th Day. Dude does awesome military designs, just plain and simple. Ninjas, not so awesome. Military, armament, and you know, tactical gear. This dude is a master. Now, off the bat, the coloring of Ripcord's weapons pissed me the fuck off. Plain and simple. I might even paint them something else. But I love what he came with, you know. It's actually cool stuff. I love the parachute there. The helmet is awesome. The fact that he came with a fancy Cobra, you know, Industries gun. I like that. I like I don't like the colors. I wish that the brighter things were a little bit, there was a variation, like some dark straps and things like that, but backpacks don't usually get painted. I hate the fact that he came with that pistol, because he has the standard Hush Puppy holster, and it had a little knob for the silencer, but he didn't come with the right kind of pistol for it. There's nowhere for you to put a silencer, nor did he even come with the silencer, so it's kind of stupid that they reused that. I love the knee pads and the boots. They're awesome. He really does look like a Halo jumper. I dig the design of the gun. As you can see, they could have just given him a gray gun. Everyone else got gray or black, and he got this weird, it didn't match. It just doesn't even fit. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. I gave him some, standard issue G.I. Joe equipment, because, me, I started with the Rise of Cobra, so most of my stuff stems from that design. So, it looks better, it looks more tactical, looks more believable. Now, this is something I noticed with the majority of the Renegades lines, and here and there in the other Joe figures. Why is it they can't get the likeness down? I mean, clearly you see that Ripcord has hair, and this guy has no hair at all. Shape of the face, okay, close, ears close, eyes completely off, but still, it's like, really? Is it that difficult? Even his vest and his collar are different, but whatever. Sci-Fi. My brother had Sci-Fi when we were kids, and we didn't really know shit about this character. We knew absolutely nothing about him. We just knew he looked cool. So we used to pretend that his suit was all robotic, and it gave him, strength and stuff. And, he was like a cyber soldier or something. And then I find out years later that he is a airstrike spotter. And then they changed that because I guess most kids didn't get that. And they made him a laser trooper, kind of like Flash. I buy the laser trooper idea because Cobra has tons of them. So it's cool when you have these Joes that kind of have more futuristic specialties. So essentially he's a laser sniper. Look at the detail on that freaking gun. The paint detail or paint apps. It's pretty nice. They're simple. And it really drives home the point that this is some future tech right here. Some shit that probably costs billions of dollars, and that's why there's only one of them. But I really, really dig this character. I mean, a lot of people had issues with him because he's from that time when G.I. Joe was kind of getting crazy as far as designs and, as far as character specialties and whatnot. But he was one of the few that, for some reason, it seemed like something that could fit. Those boots are awesome, and they're pretty faithful to the original. I like the fact that he did have a wire that was connecting the gun to the backpack, but I got rid of it because the wire wasn't as pliable as I would have liked. Those wires, though, that are connecting those little sensors to the batteries on his pockets, I like that. It gives the illusion that the suit is powered to some degree. I love the backpack. Pretty close to the original. I don't know those of you who remember it. I don't know how many of you actually remember the original, but I do. I really like that, the kind of old school sci-fi design. I dig the fact that you can remove his helmet, because we never knew what he looked like underneath. Very nice sculpt. It's not the same as other characters in the line. I kind of like the fact that they made him a little tan, so you got variety in your skin tones. And I love the fact that you got a second helmet where the visor fully comes down and covers his whole face. So if he wants to use the his laser at full power, you got some protection, homie. And I think that's awesome. All in all, this is a badass figure. All jokes about him being a Green Ranger and all that shit and being a reject from Halo and all this craziness. Whatever, all that being said, it's still an awesome figure. If you see him, get him. The other thing, he has those swivel joints, the little hidden joints in the wrist, and I love it. It's awesome because being that he is, a gunner, and he uses a big-ass gun like this, a rifle, he can actually look down the damn barrel and look through the sight. He can actually hold the gun the proper way. You know what I mean? Aggressive, passive, etc. He can actually look like he's doing what it is he's supposed to be doing, and I love that. There's also, you can see a little square sticking off by his hand. That little square sticks into the big square hole you see on the back of his backpack right there, on the side, I mean, of his backpack. So you can store it. I should have taken a picture of that, but it only dawned on me just now because I've had him holding it since I got him. But he's a good figure. Pick him up if you see him. Awesome figure. Now, this figure is kind of... These are the reasons, figures like him are the reasons why I collect G.I. Joes. You guys know I'm a Storm Shadow fan. You know I can't stand Snake Eyes. So when I see this figure, it drives home the point even more so. Since I was a kid, I was into ninjas. I grew up during the era of like Sho Kosugi films and the ninja craze and whatnot in the 80s. So it was only fitting that I liked the real ninja better than the, you know, American Ninja Commando thingamabob. I mean, he's cool and all in some situations, but Storm Shadow is the real deal. Now, I've seen so many reviews of this figure, so I'm not going to go over his articulation because all Joes, for the most part, have the same articulation. Lately, hands and feet are the only area that is different. I am going to say, though, that there are aspects of the figure that I think people glossed over because of the overall awesomeness of this figure. And my first thing is his hands. If you look at my hands, you can see that the hands I have on my Storm Shadow are a little different from the ones that he came with. It's because I switched them out with one of the Rise of Cobra, I'm sorry, not Rise, Pursuit of Cobra Storm Shadows. Now, what good is a ninja with swords if he can't hold them? The original hands, they were wonderful for all those tiny little things that you could put in between his fingers, but holding his swords, it didn't work right. They would always fall out if you just, any vibration would make him drop his weapons. And I was like, you know, no, that's not what I paid money for. Now, the cool thing about this is, a lot of you had to buy him online, and you spent upwards from $30 to like 60. I've seen even more than that on online. I found him in Target, the only one there, for freaking $8 or $9, something like that. I couldn't believe it. I was besides myself because I had been searching for him since Christmas because reviews of this figure had popped up online since Christmas. But this figure, as awesome as he is, I wouldn't be paying $50 for him or $60 for him. You know, I'm a collector, but I'm not that insane when it comes to that. But this figure is worth whatever you pay for him, you know? I said I won't go that far and be that crazy about it, but others, they might, you know, and if you do, it's still gonna be worth it because you get a lot of shit with this figure. Some of it's overboard for him, and some of it is stuff you could use for other characters. Now, for me, a lot of this stuff I have parts of, like I had Sais. I didn't have those particular Dirks, but I had Dirks and Shuriken and things like that. I have an actual Manriki Gasari for him, so I don't need that weak, long chain nunchuck. The accessories, it's like they were showing off with these accessories, like the darts that you see in the rectangular piece above the Dirk. You can remove one of those things. I don't know what you'd be doing with it, but my God. Now, the red sash and the Renegade's head, that's in my box of shit because I think that's the weakest ninja design I've seen in a while. He looks like a burn victim running around with ninja gear. I'm not feeling it. Or like the Invisible Man with ninja gear. But like, as you can see, it's like an evolution. And he actually seems to like fit in with the other figures, you know? Rise of Cobra and Pursuit of Cobra were meant to be kind of connected. And then this 30th anniversary / Rise of Cobra stuff, you know, it works well together. Now, the size. They work well with those cool hands. The fingers being sculpted separately really lend themselves to that positioning that you see right there. But, you know, that's really it. Dirks, the extra fingers being sculpted apart like that, it lends themselves to him holding the Dirks in a cool manner. But I mean, once again, these things are so tiny that, like I said, any vibration makes you drop it. Now, I'm sorry for the blurriness of this. I couldn't get the thing to focus as well as I wanted, but you can see that he's barely grasping that sword. No matter what I did, his fingers did not go all the way around or go close to all, you know, a portion of the way around. And I was just like, I'm not going through this because I'm going to come in, and this is what happened when I first got him. I pose him. I leave, go to work, do other things, come up to my studio, and his swords are on the ground. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Now, smaller swords worked, but I didn't want to switch out the swords from the Pursuit of Cobra Storm Shadow with this new one. I figured I would just leave it the way it is, switch out their hands, call it a day. Now, the Pursuit of Cobra hands and the uh, Rise of Cobra hands, they all work better, in a sense, when it comes to holding the weapons with an actual handle. They hold them perfectly. There's my man Riki Gasari that came with the Pursuit of Cobra Storm Shadow. So, like I said, that other one is going in the garbage somewhere, and it's a shame because in the pictures they showed for the prototype, it had a man Riki Gasari, a real one with a real chain. I figured also that these hands kind of look cooler with this particular Storm Shadow. So I was like, I wasn't a huge fan of this figure, but these hands kind of make him go from, want to like, and here's the old size that I was telling you about that came with this figure. So, it's not like you're getting a whole bunch of stuff that you never had, but you are getting some things that you never had. The fan. It's a very regal and deceptive weapon. Ninjas do use them sometimes. You see them more in kung fu movies or wushu films, but it looks cool with him. It makes him actually look a little bit more dignified and regal. Maybe while someone's, hiring him for a job, he could be, using his little fan or whatever. It just, to me, it looks cool, and it adds to the whole, like, classic ninja vibe that you get from this character. I mean, he's like oozing with classic ninja. So here he is running, all classic ninja style. I was going to say Naruto style, but I mean, Naruto is just exaggerated classic ninja. This figure's awesome. And for me, being that I thought I was never going to find him, it's like, thank you, for real. Somehow fate was smiling on me that day because he was the only figure there. Well, the only, they didn't have more than one of these figures. And I know he sold like 2 to a case or something, but I mean, look how badass this figure is. And I had tools to even help make him a little bit look more badass, This figure is 100% worth it, Probably the best find of the group, in my opinion. If you can find him for a reasonable price, get him. If you can't wait till you find him for a reasonable price, then do what you got to do. But he's definitely a must-have if you enjoy collecting G.I. Joes and Cobra. He's like the crowning jewel of the whole freaking... So far, he's the crowning jewel of my recent, 30th anniversary and Pursuit of Cobra collection. He easily outshines that Snake Eyes, even though some of the stuff with that Snake Eyes was a first. Now, the backpack, I meant to tell you, the sheath and the box on the back of the sheath can open up and you can store some of his stuff in there. I mean, look at all that shit. It's freaking crazy. They didn't even have to do it, but they did. So, pick them up if you see them. Now, these are the 2 of the Renegades figures. I picked them up a long time ago. I had mentioned them in another review, so we're going to go over them right now. Strangely enough, they were kind of meh. I don't know how else to put it. And I love Tunnel Rat. He's one of my favorite characters from the movie. Not the live-action movie, but the original movie from the 80s. And Scarlett's another character I've always liked, and I never had Scarlett figures when I was a kid. So now I have about 4 or 5 of them, something like that. But these figures are kind of a mixed bag for me. Scarlett is cool, but that's all she comes with is the pistol and the crossbow. Not that she needs a whole lot. I'd be happy if she only came with the crossbow, but it's like, I like when they come with stuff besides just their weapons that they can actually use. Like, it's useful in other situations. Like, homeboy here, Tunnel Rat, came with all this gear, but a lot of it is not stuff that he used. I mean, the shovel and the pan and the gun, I guess. One of those guns, the pistol, because a throwback to the original version, but the anti-bomb drone or whatever, what the fuck is that about? And his laptop, he didn't really run around with a laptop. Scarlett did. So I get, in essence, some of this stuff could be used with other characters. They gave him a hog. Now, I think the original figure came with a hog, but he just doesn't strike me as the kind of character that would be running around with a hog. He was the little guy, you know, on the team. He was the small guy, so it didn't fit for me, you know. And I don't know, their colors, I like the colors, but at the same time, they're kind of drab, and you're kind of just like, they should have made, I mean, I know that they were trying to make the figures colored according to the show, which is awesome, but they should have made variants that colored them according to their original appearances. I mean, Tunnel Rat, not necessarily Scarlet. That pistol is kind of nice, I like it. But 2 would have been nice because I could have given an extra one to the Agent Helix. But she's real simple. The only thing that I need to report with this figure is the range of motion on her head is awesome. She has amazing neck articulation because, I don't know, it's something about female figures always get the full range of articulation. Her detailing on her costume, the lower body, well, from her neck down, is awesome. The face is cool too. It's just that it doesn't strike me as a Scarlet face. She also is one of the first ones I have that have the rocker swivel ankles. They're kind of weird at first because it's hard to find out where the swivel is. You know, you kind of got to feel it, but it works and it's not bad. It just looks weird. And you're going to see these kind of ankles on a lot of the retaliation figures, you know. So, that is a plus to some degree. I mean, I don't know, I just didn't really care that she had that. But these figures are okay, considering the fact that, you know, I already have some Scarlet figures, but I knew she would be someone that's going to be hard to find later, and I could also customize her. I was like, I'm going to pick her up. And then Tunnel Rat, he's one of my favorites, but the figure just doesn't really do anything. But as you can see, this actually stacks up with the other figures. I know a lot of people had issues with those, the middle Scarlet head. It actually goes on the blue and gray and whatever body. And the other one goes on the black head, or the black body, I'm sorry, armored body. But when you look at them, there's something, I don't know, something a little off. I mean, she looks a lot prettier than the character, the model in Renegades. And it's strange because I was expecting Renegades to have more simplified figures, but you know, they do the job. So if you like Renegades, these are kind of must-have figures. You know, if you just like the actual characters themselves, pick them up. I think you'll enjoy them. Her articulation is awesome. As with most female G.I. Joes, they always get the full range of motion, so she can definitely look down the barrel of whatever gun you put in her hands. She holds everything like a pro. So check her out, pick her up. I think you will enjoy her. This gun, the gray gun that I put in Nikki's hands, it just proves the point that all they had to do was reuse something else and put it in his hand and we would have been happy. Instead, they tried to wow you with a whole bunch of shit. So, I don't know. Anyway, on to the next one. This is Law and Order. Now, Law and Order are also figures from the movie era, the original movie era. In the original Law and Order, they were new recruits, and they were being trained, part of the group that was being trained by Beachhead. Jinx was involved in that group, and so was, you know, Tunnel Rat. Also, the original Law was Hispanic, and I dug that because I grew up around Hispanic people, and it was cool to see the people I was growing up around, you know, Hispanic Americans being represented in a TV show I was watching. But this version is just a generic white guy. He's just a Jake. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. It's just, you know, where did diversity go? I love his weapons, all this detail. I am kind of tired of the hush puppy and the you know, suppressor, silencer, whatever. I really dig the handcuffs. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for him not having them. But this version of the character is a little bit more generic in terms of, you know, his personality. And, you know, but in my world, he's going to still be the original Hispanic guy. I just think that makes more sense to me. That shotgun is amazing. The detail on that bad boy is freaking off the chain. The detail on his figure is off the chain. He only comes with a few accessories, but if you think about it, he comes with like 3 or 4 guns, 2 pistols, 2 you know, rifles, so to speak, you know, a shotgun and that machine gun. He comes with the faceplate that goes over his helmet, and then he also comes with Order. And Order's pretty cool. Reminds me of the dog from, I think his name was Razor, from that Blade animated series, because the dog was wearing a bulletproof vest and whatnot, and he also was like a shepherd or something. But this is a cool looking dog. It's really well sculpted. All the details look right. The dog's not staring in a strange kind of way. They did a good job. It's one of the better dogs. It's better than a lot of the dogs that you got with Snake Eyes. I dig the pockets because that's more functional. He could be carrying stuff that Law might need, like extra clips or rations or explosives. I don't know, something. Probably not explosives, but clips or communication gear or something. I don't know. But, you know, he's got pockets for stuff. It's cool. It makes sense. You could send the dog off to do things that you normally couldn't do. I'm immediately channeling Dead to Rights, the original ones. There he is with his 357. And I dig the fact that this version of his 357 is a little different from the one I have for, you know, my Edge figure. Whereas that one is from the True Heroes line. The details here are really nice. Mine's a little weathered, and I did that on purpose because, you know, you've seen this gun before in the 20th anniversary, or 25th anniversary, I'm sorry. He came with Dreadnoks, he came with Crocmaster, came with a bunch of characters. Now this shotgun, I don't think I've ever seen with anything else, and it's pretty damn nice. Like I said earlier, the detail on this thing is immaculate. It's wonderful. This gun looks like it fell straight out of Rainbow Six Vegas, and I'm happy that it did, because it is nice, and it's awesome to see this kind of attention to detail, which, I mean, it's always been there with the Joes, but it's nice to see this kind of attention to detail in newer figures, you know? And this is something that since the 25th anniversary, we'll say like the end of the 25th anniversary, Hasbro's been really doing it up when it comes to the details on their figures. It kind of drives home the point that these characters actually have a specialty. And it's not just some information that's on the back of their file card. It's like you really feel like they do what they were created to do and what their card says they do, or what you saw them do in the TV show. And I think that's awesome, because this is why we collect G.I. Joes, pretty much, you know? So definitely pick him up if you see him.